the Bucs at this year's draft on this edition of the Bucs Minute Cast. Keep it right here.
Minicast Media.
10,000!
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers Minute Cast starts right now.
Bucs on 3, 1, 2, 3, Bucs!
This is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Minute Cast. Well, hello and welcome into this off-season edition of the Bucs Minute Cast. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. As always, this podcast is free and available on all the major platforms. Check us out online, bucsreport.com. This podcast is also available on YouTube. Just search for The Bucs Report. And of course, this audio podcast is available wherever you find your audio podcasts. Just search for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Minicast. Today's episode is brought to you by Manscaped. Take 20% off plus free shipping when you use promo code MinuteCast at manscaped.com. So in this edition of the Bucs Minute Cast, we talk about the Buccaneers draft picks so far in the draft and what it means going forward. We know this was going to be a season in transition as there's a lot of moving pieces, some players moving in, some players moving out, most notably Tom Brady no longer with the Bucs. It's all about Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask. And ultimately, what do they have in the tank? Are they going to be good enough? I guess we will find out this season is going to be interesting. Is Baker Mayfield going to be able to reinvigorate his career and find out what he had before and ultimately be that number one QB for the Bucs? Or is Kyle Trask going to give him a run for his money? Those will be the things that we'll be talking about in upcoming episodes of the Bucs Minute Cast as this summer progresses. And I say summer in quotations as I live in northern Minnesota, and it is 35 degrees today. But summer is coming, and with that comes summer OTAs, mini camps, that kind of things. And the Bucs Minute Cast and the Bucs Report podcast will have you covered through this entire summer. But in this edition, we are going to talk about the Bucs at the draft, and they could stand to get a lot better next season, depending on what they did at the draft. And so far, I am impressed with what I have seen the Buccaneers do. They have really picked up some solid pieces. Some people said, are they going to draft another quarterback? Would that be the right thing to do? I don't think that's the right idea. Do you want to add another quarterback to the mix of Trask and Baker Mayfield? And I just didn't think it was the right idea. And ultimately, I like what the Bucs have done thus far. But just let's get going here first about Calijah Kancey. One of the guys that I've heard, okay, who's this guy? Why did they pick him up? He played for Pitt. And even though he is considered to be undersized, he has a level of explosiveness that can really evaporate the pocket. So I look for big things from him. And if you haven't seen his kind of like his hype reel that they've shown online, take a look at it. Even though he is only 6'1" and 281 pounds, which is small, considering the position that he is going to be playing, I have high hopes for him. Calijah Kancey, like I said, 6'1", 281 pounds, is the same height and 1 pound heavier than another undersized interior pass rusher who played at Pitt. Put up the off-chart measurables before the draft and has turned out to be a pretty well in the NFL. But Kancey doesn't want to be compared to Aaron Donald. That is who he's being compared to. So the bar is set a bit high for him. But ultimately, do I think that he's up for the challenge? I do. Like I said, if his hype reel and what he was like in college is any indicator of what kind of player he's going to be for the Bucs, I am most excited. That's a great comparison, Kancey said moments after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selected him with the 19th pick in the Thursday's first round. But honestly, I'm Calijah Kancey. At the end of the day, it's great to be compared to a guy like that, of that caliber. But at the end of the day, Kancey, and that's who I want to make a name for. And no one wants to live, being compared to another great player. Ultimately, I do think that he is a great player, and to draw comparisons to a great player like that is a good thing. But as a guy in the NFL, a professional, you want to stand on your own 2 feet. You don't want to be compared to this other guy that's playing out there, even though it is quite a great accolade to have. Bucs GM Jason Licht said the combination of size and athleticism is familiar, but joked that the closer parallel isn't to the future Hall of Famer, but to a 6'1", 290-pound defensive tackle who had only seen 7 Pro Bowl selections. We do think he has strength, and he does have power, and he does have the ability to hold up in there. Light said, they were saying the same thing. I'm not comparing to Aaron Donald. That's not fair. I would like to say it's more like John Randall. Kancey piled up 14.5 sacks over the last 2 seasons at Pitt and really turned heads at the NFL Combine. He ran the 40-yard dash in 4.67 seconds, the fastest time for any defensive lineman in 20 years. And 0.01 seconds faster than Donald. So let's not compare him to Donald. In a lot of ways, he could ostensibly be better than him, but he's breaking records already, and he is on your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm excited about it. As Bucs fans, you should be excited about it as well. So let's put aside, there's a lot of talking heads around the NFL that said he's undersized and why did they pick him? That's nonsense. I ultimately think he is the right guy for the job. So let's move on from the comparable there. But I'm excited about what he brings to the table. The Bucs used their top draft pick on a defensive lineman for the 2nd year in a row after taking Houston's Logan Hall at number 33. Tampa Bay had 5 free agents from its 2022 defensive line group, opting not to re-sign starters Akeem Hicks and Will Golston and allowing backup Rakeem Nunez-Roches to sign with the Giants. They added free agents Greg Gaines from the Rams, but will be leaning hard on 2 young prospects in Kancey and Hall. This story in Fox Sports. Greg Auman killing it as he always does. The newest Bucs went to the same school as Miami Northwestern as the longest tenured Bucs player linebacker Levante David. Maybe you've heard of him before. And Light says they have the same kind of maturity when you talk to them. One thing we loved about him is he has an extreme mature nature about him. Light said he is a leader. He's very smart. It's like talking to a 40-year-old man. Hey, that's not a bad thing. I'm 46. What's up here? He's really got a great head on his shoulder. He's got a chip on his shoulder as well. So, I think a lot of that is just telling him all his career that you're too small. That is what is propelling him to greatness. I don't want to put it out there saying he's expecting to have 15 sacks or anything next year, but I know he's going to contribute. And we're excited about what he brings to the table. Ultimately, I think that he is going to fit in just fine with the Buccaneers' plans going forward. Just some stats: 91.8 PFF grade, 92.1 pass rush grade, 19 sacks, 111 QB pressure. So it is exciting to look at the possibility of what can be in these players. Or, sometimes it doesn't always necessarily translate from college to professional NFL football, but we are hoping that is going to be the case. And again, bigger and better things, I think, await for this Bucs team, as a lot of people have already dismissed them. They're like, well, this is the Bucs post Tom Brady. How good can they possibly be? And then they look at all the players that have wanted to move on from this team already, and some have already moved on from this team. There's a lot of question marks, to be sure, but I am hopeful that this team will be competitive going forward. We've seen what Carolina's done. They seem like they're really stock in the fridge, if you will. And then you take a look at the Saints, always a formidable opponent for the Buccaneers, but I do think that the Bucs will give those teams and many other teams a run for their money, and I'm excited at what the Bucs have brought to this team so far. All right, so after the break here, the Bucs weren't done yet. They have drafted a couple other players. How will they translate, and what do they mean to this Bucs team? We'll talk about that straight ahead. News. Manscaped now sells beard products. That's right, they are once again revolutionizing men's grooming with a brand new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. From a beard trim to a fresh shave, the technology behind the Beard Hedger Pro Kit allows you to shape your signature beard look. Now you can finally use Manscaped products to make your drapes match your carpet by going to manscaped.com and using promo code MINUTECAST for 20% off and free shipping. It's time to tame your mane. No one likes a weird beard, so say goodbye to all the stubble trouble with Manscaped's Pro Beard Kit. It all starts with the Beard Hedger, this thing is a juggernaut of fixing faces. First off, this cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard. So no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. That's right, face grooming doesn't need to be hard. Get 20 different beard lengths in just one guard. Plus, it's waterproof so you can shave in the shower to avoid all the hair in the sink. The titanium T-blade is tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to single-stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. The Pro Kit doesn't end there, though. They have created the dermatologist-tested formulations for post-trim care. First, there is the beard shampoo and conditioner. You need to remember all the hair is different. Your beard hair is more coarse and easier to damage than the hair on your head. That's why this kit has made shampoo and conditioner specifically designed to moisturize, reduce ingrown hairs, replace natural oils, and promote beard health. Next, the kit has Manscaped's beard oil, an essential piece of your main facial accessory. No one wants a guy with a beard that is brittle and dry. The oil relieves dryness both on the beard and the skin beneath, while adding a little shimmer and shine, making you look extra fine. Cap the kit off with a beard balm, a pomade that shapes, styles, moisturizes, and tames for a sculptured look to attract any fellows or dames. The Pro Beard Kit also comes with 3 free gifts: a beard brush, comb, and scissors to ensure your beard is ready to impress. So, get 20% off and free shipping with promo code MINUTECAST at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use promo code MINUTECAST. Manscaped Beard Hedger, 1 stroke, 1 guard, 20 lengths. All right, welcome back into this edition of the Bucs Minute Cast. We call it the Minute Cast because I cover the Bucs news in generally under 15 minutes. It's going to go a little bit long today as I'm covering 3 draft picks. But make sure when you're using your podcatcher of choice, if it's Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, whatever the case, make sure and search for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Minutecast. Hit that follow or subscribe button. That way you will know when the new podcasts are available. Also, the Bucs Report will be returning this summer, as well as I have a lot of great interviews lined up. So make sure and check that out. Again, check that out on your favorite podcatcher, the Bucs Report. Hit follow or subscribe. That way you will know when the new podcasts are available. All right, welcome back into this edition. So the Bucs weren't done yet on one of the other draft picks. It was an exciting couple days so far, and I look for some excitement going forward as well, as the Buccaneers were active out there, drafting some really great players. And one of the players that I'm excited about is Cody Mauch from North Dakota. There's comparables out there to Jensen, 2 redheaded guys, gap tooth kind of guys, seem to be kindred spirits. I mean, we'll look to see ultimately what he has in the tank, but what I've seen of him, he's this long red-haired gap tooth guy, kind of quirky. I like it. I like quirky players. And one of the things that I talked about on Twitter is when that jersey is available, his Bucs jersey, that is, I'm going to be in the first to want to buy that one because I like already what he has. He's got kind of that odd personality. He's not only that, let's push aside his personality and talk about what kind of player he is. He's got a great physicality, and I do see comparables to like a Jensen out there, just kind of a big, strong guy out there that can really tear it up. And, a guy that's got a bit of personality, not too bad. Bucs GM Jason Light said on players reacting to drafting Cody Mauch, absolutely love it. Ryan Jensen has been texting him since we took him. He goes, he and I are going to mess things up. He didn't use the word mess. And I'm not going to use any other word other than mess because this is a family program here. Bucs don't have a 4th-round pick Saturday. Used it to get Zion McCollum last year, so it stands. They won't pick again until 153, then a flurry at 175, 181, and 196, then wrapping up with 252. But I stand by most of the draft picks. Some, you see these mock drafts and what could be and what should have been, but I do like the picks that were made. And, it's going to be interesting. Like I say, how do they translate to the NFL? But Cody Mauch, I'm excited. Missing teeth. Cody's smile reveals his competitive nature during a 7th grade basketball game. Mauch had his 2 front teeth knocked out. He will not have them replaced until his football tenure is over. It's probably wise. Otherwise, he's going to continue to spend money on this. Mauch is a unique specimen and one who will bring tenacity to the trenches for the Bucs. And that is what we're looking for. Again, a lot of people dismissing this Bucs team as being a team post Brady, and what do they have in the tank? And they're going to be at the bottom of the NFC South. Nonsense, I say, with these draft picks, along with many other additions, and including additions that have not come to fruition yet. I do see this team as being stacked. As a 220-pound walk-on tight end at North Dakota State, Mauch morphed into a 300-pound left tackle, and Tyler Rolls' run-heavy scheme as he bulked up. Mauch moved to the offensive line during the 2018 spring practices. He underwent a body transformation to maximize his skill set at the collegiate level, fostering growth on the gridiron, gaining an understanding on what tight ends are looking for in combo blocks and how to adjust according has helped Mauch create a comprehensive lens on the field. So a guy that kind of came in a little undersized perhaps and bulked up, knew what he had to do to be competitive in the NFL, someday. I do like what he brings to the table. And if you have not seen his highlight package, his hype reel, if you will, check it out. It's at TampaBayBuccaneers.com. Very impressive, a very colorful character, if you will. And it's interesting that they already have this rapport, him and Jensen. I think it's going to be a dynamic duo that I look forward to unfolding this next season potentially. So it is going to be exciting to see what the Bucs have in him. Again, I'm hoping that it translates well. So he started playing 9-man football. Mauch played 9-man football in high school, setting up the Hankinson, North Dakota school record for both career touchdowns and sacks. In high school, Mauch was a 4-sport letterman and was not only a 3-year starter in 9-man football, but a 2-time team captain, a leadership quality. Oftentimes you see these players that go on to bigger and better things. And how did you know they were destined for greatness, even at the younger level, even in high school? Being a 2-time team captain kind of speaks volume about leadership and what he has. And then you saw what he did with North Dakota, bulking up, knew what he had to do. He revolutionized his game, mixing things up a little bit. I think that's going to bode well for him in the NFL as well. So taking a look at him, the 6'5", 302-pound Mauch started 39 consecutive games at the offensive tackle for the Bisons and earned FCS Offensive Lineman of the Year honors in 2022. He garnered attention with natural athleticism and an attacking mindset, becoming a first-team All-American in 2022. Mauch is an explosive puller and consistently drives defenders back on second-level blocks. Turning his feet, he effortlessly moved in space, elevating North Dakota State's rushing assault. And, kind of getting picked from a smaller school, give it to Jason Light and his crew for kind of, putting the trolling motor on and going out in the weeds there a little bit and finding these players. Oftentimes you hear these players and they're picked from the U, in these big schools, Ohio State and Michigan and that kind of thing. So for them to kind of go out into the weeds a little bit and pick him up from North Dakota, good on them. Again, on paper, I like him. He's an interesting person and a great football player. I've watched his highlight reel a couple times. I am excited about what the Bucs have in him. All right, so after the break here, we will talk about the other draft pick that the Bucs made and what does he ultimately have in the tank. We'll talk about him straight ahead. All right, welcome back into this edition of the Bucs Minute Cast. Once again, take 20% off plus free shipping when you use promo code MinuteCast at manscaped.com. Well, the Bucs were churning out draft picks and high-end draft picks, if you ask me. Some people said that, they should have picked this guy or that guy. And why didn't they pick a quarterback? It's all nonsense. I think they did a really great job at the draft so far. And as I talked about, they don't have a pick for quite some time. But the Bucs' other pick, YaYa Diaby, relentless approach. YaYa didn't give up his dream, and now he's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Diaby was a versatile football player and a multi-sport standout in high school in the Atlanta area, but didn't get much interest in recruiting circuits, in part for sure because he was about 210 pounds at the time, and he found himself tossing bags at the airport. But he eventually got a tryout at Georgia Military College and then opted and opened up a venue for him to pursue his dream. He has done relentlessly ever since, just that drive to succeed. He went to Georgia Military School and then found his way to Louisville, and he's just had to earn a spot every step of the way, said Buccaneers Vice President Player Personnel Jason Spytek. He's a really talented kid. He ran a 4.51 at 263 pounds. He plays his ass off. He's versatile. He can rush inside. He can maybe stand up in the subgroups. He can probably go inside and rush a little bit. He can stand up and rush off the edge. He never gives up. Tenacity. That's one of the keys that you can look for success in the NFL. You can't make it from the college to the NFL playing half-ass. So this guy brings it. The Buccaneers nabbed Diaby in the middle of the third round with the 82nd pick overall in a draft with few blue chip edge rushers at the top, but a very deep pool of intriguing candidates. The Bucs found one who they think will have all the traits to develop into a productive defender. Those traits include a passion for the game that will lead him to continue on the journey that begun at an Atlanta airport. So a guy that, wasn't the top of the heap, but had that tenacity, had that stick-to-itiveness. He wanted to stick to it. Even though he was deterred at times, he had the internal fortitude to stick to what he knew he was, a great football player. Will it translate from college to the NFL? I guess we will see. But I like his attitude, that another guy that is probably going to have a chip on his shoulder, that's going to want to prove to anyone that he is one heck of an NFL football player. And I have no doubt that he will help fortify this Bucs team. So I'm excited to see what the Buccaneers have in the tank with him. So we've got long arms, we've got power, we've got relentlessness, we've got speed. There's a lot of things to like, said Spytek. Now he's got some room to improve and to grow like a lot of guys do, but he's a talented kid that loves football. And a lot of time, those things work out. He's relentless. He chases things to the sideline. He can run quarterbacks down. I think if you start with that, you can learn a lot of things. The guy is wired to relentlessly go after the quarterback. We've got coaches who are great at what they do and will teach him to develop pass rush moves. We like to work with guys who run a 4.51 and can push tackles backwards. So I do think, just to wrap up this show, that the Buccaneers have done a great job at the draft. And I'm pumped to see what this team has next year to prove a lot of different people around the NFL that this Buccaneers team is still one to be reckoned with. And they're going to do it with a lot of young talent, a lot of veteran players. You're going to have a new quarterback this year. It is exciting. It's not going to be a copy-paste season, like the last couple seasons. Brady was here and all these other players, and you ultimately knew what you were going to have with that lineup. This is a new dawn for this Buccaneers team, and I'm excited to see what they have in the tank and ultimately what they can do to prove everyone in the NFL that this Bucs team is nothing to mess with. All right, once again, I want to thank you for joining me on this edition of the Bucs Minute Cast. Once again, hit that follow or subscribe button. I will have some episodes throughout the summer, but come summer OTAs and mini camps, it will be a backup at a regular basis. And also the Bucs Report podcast. Follow and subscribe on your podcatcher of choice. All right, my name is Dan Holme of the Bucs Minute Cast. I'll talk to you again next time.